Stop what you're doing and listen to this entire video. This video is important to the Black community and every person of color. It is important that we know agendas and initiatives that are happening around the world concerning us. I'm gonna show you 2 clips. I found out something today that I need to share with y'all, and let me know if I'm wrong, if I'm seeing something that isn't there. I'm gonna start off with saying this. The population of Africa is 1.2 billion. The population of Asia is 4.5 billion people.
I would say our biggest risk that we took was stepping into this contraceptive space. Because of intense political pressure in the United States and some religious pressure, the global health community had backed off on contraceptives. And in 2012, we led an initiative and stepped back in because it is the greatest anti-poverty tool in the world. When women can time and space the births of their children are healthier, they can educate the kids, women can stay in school longer, and they can enter the workforce. We forget in the United States that it was the advent of the birth control pill that allowed women to work. And I believe that women should be able to do whatever they want, raise a family, work, or work and raise a family. But without contraceptives, they can't realize that dream.
Do you think the issues around Medicare and Medicaid are potentially destabilizing from an economic standpoint?
I think they could be. We know that we have the highest healthcare costs in the world, and we have a phenomenal healthcare system. However, the costs are disproportionate in terms of our GDP right now.
Key to giving back and giving money and helping the next generation is capitalism. The ability to earn a return on your investment. Where do you fall on capitalism? Is it broken? What tweaks need to happen?
I absolutely want to live in a capitalistic society. And the people I meet in so many countries in Africa and Asia want to live in the United States because of capitalism and democracy. We don't have it all right, though. And so I think it's time for us to relook at our tax policy. We should be taxing the wealthy more than middle class more than low income. We have too much inequity in society, so we need to have some of these policy discussions, and we need to tweak our capitalistic system so it works for everybody, not just the wealthy.
So Melinda Gates has truly seen it all. She is always traveling the world. She has seen some of the worst poverty known to humankind, and that's what she's doing.
Seriously, bruh? You saw the pics that were shown. Is it me, or were majority of the pics out of Africa with 1 or 2 from Southeast Asia? You heard what she said about capitalism, right? She absolutely wants to live in a capitalistic society and believes people in Africa and Asia want to live in it too. I don't believe it's a capitalistic society they want to live in. She said something interesting in that clip. Did you catch it? This initiative is a contraception project that Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has started. They wanted to get into it before, but there was pushback from the global health community. And then she said in 2012, they led an initiative to step back into it, AKA they saw an opportunity in Africa and Asia. Now we'll move on to the next clip. I want you to look at the audience. I want you to listen to what Melinda Gates is saying. And I want you also to pay attention to the pictures that she shows. Okay?
Today, I'd like to talk with you about something that should be a totally uncontroversial topic. But unfortunately, it's become incredibly controversial. This year, if you think about it, over 1 billion couples will have sex with one another. Couples like this one, and this one, and this one, and yes, even this one. And my idea is this: all these men and women should be free to decide whether they do or do not want to conceive a child. And they should be able to use one of these birth control methods to act on their decision. Now, I think you'd have a hard time finding many people who disagree with this idea. Over 1 billion people use birth control without any hesitation at all. They want the power to plan their own lives, and to raise healthier, better educated, and more prosperous families. But for an idea that is so broadly accepted in private, birth control certainly generates a lot of opposition in public. Now, some people think when we talk about contraception that it's code for abortion, which it's not. Some people, let's be honest, they're uncomfortable with the topic because it's about sex. Some people worry that the real goal of family planning is to control populations. But these are all side issues that have attached themselves to this core idea that men and women should be able to decide when they want to have a child. And as a result, birth control has almost completely and totally disappeared from the global health agenda. And the victims of this paralysis are the people of sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia. Here in Germany, the proportion of people that use contraception is about 66%. That's about what you'd expect. In El Salvador, very similar, 66%. Thailand, 64%. But let's compare that to other places like Uttar Pradesh, one of the largest states in India. In fact, if Uttar Pradesh was its own country, it would be the 5th largest country in the world. Their contraception rate, 29%. Nigeria, the most populous country in Africa, 10%. Chad, 2%. So let's just take one country in Africa, Senegal. Their rate is about 12%. But why is it so low? Well, one reason is that the most popular contraceptives are rarely available. Women in Africa will tell you over and over again that what they prefer today is an injectable. They get it in their arm, and they go about 4 times a year. They have to get it every 3 months to get their injection. The reason women like it so much in Africa is they can hide it from their husbands, who sometimes want a lot of children. The problem is, every other time a woman goes into a clinic in Senegal, that injection is stocked out. It's stocked out 150 days out of the year. So can you imagine the situation? She walks all this way to go get her injection. She leaves her field, sometimes leaves her children, and it's not there. And she doesn't know when it's going to be available again. This is the same story across the continent of Africa today. And so what we've created as a world has become a life and death crisis. There are 100,000 women who say they don't want to be pregnant and they die in childbirth. 100,000 women a year. There's another 600.
Really? Her first picture she showed is pictures of a couple from South Asia, then a couple from Africa, and then a couple from Southeast Asia. And then the last couple was her and Bill. Okay, she's just talking about them having sex, but they ain't producing nothing. So why are they including themselves in this? Why wouldn't they put another white couple randomly saying that they're helping them? Because they ain't catering for them. Did you hear what she said? So now she's going into African and Asian countries that are low when using contraceptives. Me want know is who tell her said them have problem. You ever hear Africa or Asia call for contraception? So why are they going over there talking about this is anti-poverty and this is helping because of XYZ? Was there a call to action? You tell me, I could be wrong, eh? I'm just looking at this thing and I'm like, something don't seem right to me. Or is there an agenda going on? Let's move on. On June 4th, 2020, Melinda Gates had an interview with Time magazine. This was a question. Basically, in this whole anti-racism protest, how does this moment relate to your work in health equity? She talks about George Floyd, and then she goes into how comparing it to COVID and how the black men are dying at disproportionate rate and saying we know the way out of COVID is a vaccine and this needs to go out equitably. The next question, how do you make sure that happens? Well, we have to make sure the vaccine doesn't go to the highest bidder, so it's not going to the rich people first. So the first to get it are the 60 million healthcare workers around the world. They deserve to get it before anybody else. And then you start tearing. What exactly do they mean? Black people, that's what they mean. That's who's next to get this vaccine after healthcare workers, black people, and then many other people of color. Then you have people with underlying health conditions and people who are older. Does that make any sense to you? Oh, now they want to give this to us first. Of all things, they want to give this to us first? I'm going to repeat the information I gave you in the beginning. The population of Africa is 1.2 billion. The population of Asia is 4.5 billion. The world population is 7.6 billion. Africa and Asia combined make up 75% of the world's population. Does that surprise you? It doesn't surprise me none that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation would find themselves over there to try and, well, you look it up and you decide for yourself what you think the agenda is. Some say depopulation, population control. Some say digital security, digital identification. You draw your own conclusions, but one thing's for sure, they're coming for our community. There definitely is an agenda. Ask yourself the questions, why into these impoverished areas? You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the French scientist about 2 months ago that suggested they test the corona vaccine in Africa, in the impoverished areas. Don't believe me? Just look it up. All of this is Google and YouTube. That's where I found this information. It's out there.